everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com and it's time for another Predicciones Contesto, pitting myself against whoever wants a piece of the Cultaholic Heavyweight Champion. You might be noticing, no title. That's because our lovely government has told us now we need to probably work from home again if we can, and it's stuck in the bloody office, isn't it? So, bit frustrating. You wait ages to become champion again and then can't retrieve your gold, your title. Yeah. But enough of all that, because we have a pretty intriguing WWE pay-per-view to talk about. Clash of Champions 2020, in which, of course, all of / many of the titles will be on the line. There's no 24/7 title match at the moment, but I wouldn't put it past WWE to slot something into the show at the last moment. So, let's get on with some lovely predictions, and let's start with the pre-show. One more thing as well, Adam Pacitti will be doing his own live streamed reactions on this very YouTube channel as the show is taking place, and I will be doing my What Happened At review of the show pretty soon after it's finished, the same night that it ends. Also, Adam will be doing Graded, I believe, the next day. So lots of content coming out around Clash of Champions weekend. But now on to the one, as far as we know at the time of recording, pre-show match. Zelina Vega taking on Asuka for Asuka's Raw Women's Championship, and Asuka's gonna win, isn't she? So that's not a very exciting prediction to start things off, and I don't know how to really elaborate on it either. Asuka's gonna win, Zelina's gonna lose. It's cool for her to have a match on a pay-per-view. I'm sad that it's actually on the pre-show, and Asuka's gonna probably tear her limb from limb. My prediction for this one is Asuka to retain her Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm cool with the idea of Asuka being as brilliant as she is, being on the pre-show, the kick-off show, the buy-in, whatever you call it. So it does suggest to me that because this match hasn't got the pay-per-view feel, it's going to belong immediately to Asuka. Asuka to win.
Taking Asuka here, even if the build isn't amazing, a world title on the pre-show is quite frankly bollocks. And although I think this is a really important match for Zelina, certainly her biggest match to date, and I think she'll do a lot more than expected, but ultimately Asuka ain't dropping the strap on the kickoff, and that is that. Asuka!
So I'm going to go for Asuka here on this one, simply because, it's on the pre-show. Surely nothing's going to happen there. Really? I don't know. I think it makes the most sense to let Asuka's tear continue for now. Zelina Vega's not going to have a terrible match by any means. I think she'll have quite a good match. It's maybe just not the right time for her just yet.
Next up, we have the SmackDown Tag Team title match pitting the champions Cesaro and Nakamura against the Lucha House Party. They love having a great time of some combination of Kalisto, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado. Now, my prediction centers around whether Lince is involved or not, because Lince is my boy, absolutely love him, best and strongest and most powerful superstar on the roster. If Lince is involved, then I think that the Lucha House Party are going to win, but I don't think Lince is going to be involved, because they're not using him enough, and they never do. So, quite sort of pessimistically, I'm going to predict that Cesaro and Nakamura are going to win, retaining their SmackDown Tag Team titles, perhaps continuing this feud with the Street Profits, who knows. And the Lucha House Party will learn a lesson, which is to trust their strongest and most beautiful friend, Lince Dorado.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, again, very much like with the opening match with Zelina Vega going up against Asuka, I can't see Lucha House Party winning, despite the fact they've had the momentum. I feel like this one again belongs to the champs. I think they want to put away Lucha House Party and they want to move on to something a little bit bigger and badder and bolder. So yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro to retain their tag team titles.
It's got to be Nakaro here, hasn't it? I mean, Lucha House Party look like they'll be properly splitting soon, so it makes no sense to put the straps on them here. Long may Tony and Naka's reign.
I'm going to go for Nakamura and Cesaro on this one, simply because of everything that's been happening with Lucha House Party recently. I think that this match is going to be almost a close sealed victory for them, and then there's going to be some sort of miscommunication, some sort of balls up, and then Kalisto is going to blame Lince, there's going to be some sort of massive bust up, and that will be the end of the Lucha House Party.
From one set of tag team titles to another, we have the Street Profits defending their Raw tag team titles against Andrade and Angel Garza, which is strange because that's who they've been feuding with all this time until very recently when Nakamura and Cesaro popped up on Raw to fire a few shots and then get sent packing. I'm going to go for the Street Profits, I guess. I can't really see them putting the belts back on Andrade and Angel Garza at this juncture. Seems like a bit of a step back in my opinion. And with Andrade and Angel Garza rapidly approaching some kind of split, it seems, I think that they need a big loss to hurry that along. So I think the Street Profits are going to retain here. I think both sets of tag team champions will remain the same, and will possibly build this up all the way to Survivor Series, where the two could clash again against each other. But one way or another, I think the Street Profits are going to retain those belts.
So it's round 392 for the Street Profits and Andrade and Angel Garza, I see. Brilliant. If they don't win this time, then they're never going to win it ever. So I think they're going to surprise the world and become the new champs. So I'm picking Andrade and Angel Garza to become the Raw Tag Team Champions at Clash of Champions.
This is the match that should be on the pre-show. Very, very little build here. Andrade and Angel just earning the shot of the belts on Monday. And the fact that this is on the main card as opposed to the pre-show indicates to me that we're more likely to see a title change, as they would rather do it on the main card. So I'm taking Andrade and Angel here because, well, they're both really, really good. And I say this every time, but they are both the future of the biz.
This one I'm going to go for Andrade and Garza. They have been two of the biggest stars of the Empty Arena and Thunderdome age, and I think it might be time just now to pull the trigger on them. I know that things are a little bit rocky at the moment, but at least, you know, give a few weeks out of it. If we can get a few weeks out of it, then we can have a nice slice of betrayal cake, and then from there it can all fall apart and turn into a lovely, beautiful, juicy feud.
Next up, the triple threat IC title ladder match between the champion Jeff Hardy, the former champion AJ Styles, and the man who still thinks he is champion, Sami Zayn. Now, I think Sami Zayn's going to win this match, largely because he's correct. He is still the champion, and that belt was unfairly taken from him, in my opinion. So I'm going to go for Sami Zayn, purely a hard overhead decision, although I do think that maybe WWE will be tempted to just pick up where they left off at WrestleMania. So you know what? I'm going to go for Sami Zayn to win, and then for Daniel Bryan to call him out afterwards. It's a bit of an off-the-wall pick, I know. Maybe Bryan will be, gone for a long time, who knows. But maybe that's the match they want to build to. Either way, whether Bryan appears or not, I think Sami Zayn's got this one in the bag.
Tell you what, this match could steal a night. Could really steal a night. Three of the best in a ladder match. Oh, whatever the outcome, I'm over the moon. But I think Sami Zayn's going to win via shenanigans. I can see Zayn becoming the undisputed Intercontinental Champion at Clash of Champions. It won't be a clean win, but it'll be something that cements him as the IC guy. After months of claiming that he's still the man, he will become officially the man at Clash of Champions. Sami Zayn, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm salivating. Can't bloody wait for this one. Always get a little bit worried that Jeff is going to do something mental because he's Jeff Hardy and end up hurting himself. But hey, lots of storyline possibilities coming out of this one and a really great story heading into it too. So, I don't think AJ is picking up the win here, simply because he's had his go, and although his reign was nowhere near as long as any of us expected, not having the belt doesn't really hurt him one bit. Sami Zayn, well, he should win the belt and prove himself as the rightful Intercontinental Champion, but this is WWE, and this is Sami Zayn, and they've never really seemed to care as much as they should, which means I'm going for a Jeff Hardy retention here. Nothing wrong with that. Just hope he doesn't do anything too mental and die in his attempt to retain the belt.
I'm going to go for Sami here. It's got to be Sami, surely. I mean, he's been so good since he came back. He's been doing all of the, I'm still the IC champion, all of that stuff. I think if Sami is to win here, though, it's not going to be some sort of incredible performance by him. I think that he's going to step back, let the other two beat the crap out of each other, and then he's going to jump in with a sneak victory, and that'll just dial up his annoying meter like 1,000%. This also frees AJ up to slowly climb his way back up the card toward the main event. Don't know what Jeff's going to do, but let's just pray that it's not another feud with Sheamus that culminates in a match in a bar.
Next up, the women's tag team title match between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, who are going to win the match. against the Riott Squad, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are going to win. I honestly don't know how to elaborate on this any further. There you go. The champs are going to retain. If you don't think so, you're a fool.
Aye, so through my eyes. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, weird choice as women's tag champs. I think Baszler's capable of so much more. Riott Squad aren't winning though. Baszler and Jax to retain.
We've got a whole lot of tag teams breaking up or looking like they're about to break up right now. So WWE need to give Nia and Shayna a bit of a run before they inevitably split the pair, which is why I'm taking them to retain here. It's a shame for the Riott Squad because they feel like an actual team and have proper history, but WWE have made their bed and now they have to lie in it. Nia and Shayna to win.
Oh, come on, this one's got to be one of the easier ones to predict on the show. They've just got the bloody belts. Yes, they're a bit of an odd couple, but Riott Squad aren't going to touch them. Nia and Shayna to retain.
Next up, Bobby Lashley taking on Apollo Crews. Part of, I guess, this wider war between Her Business and Apollo and friends. And this is a difficult one. This is a difficult one for me to predict. I think that I'm going to go for Bobby Lashley to retain, but I'm not entirely certain because I think Retribution are going to get involved. You know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to predict a no contest / draw. That's what I'm going to predict in this match. I think Retribution will get involved. I think the match will get called off without a definitive winner. Oh. Generally in these predictions contests, you never want to predict a no contest or a draw because it's so rare. But I'm going to do it here. I'm going for the draw. I'm going for Retribution to get involved. And yeah, I feel brave. I feel brave taking this risk. It's going to make me look like a fool.
Can everybody stop using tabs? That would be great. Thank you. Her Business have been brilliant on Raw, to be honest. I've really enjoyed some of the stuff they've been doing. Not quite sure whether we're cheering them or booing them, to be honest. And Apollo Crews is a plucky contender, but I think that belt suits Lashley a lot more. A lot more. This water's still freezing. I'm going back in.
The Hurt Business are bloody great, aren't they? One of my favourite things about Raw right now, and now definitely isn't the time for Bobby to be dropping the belt, especially to Apollo Crews, who, let's face it, is about as much fun as Asbestos or CJ off of Eggheads. My one concern is that Retribution might get involved here, and it might become a no contest. But after Raw this week, I think that they're more likely to get involved later in the night, God forbid. So I'm going to hedge my bets and take Big Bob here.
There's another short answer from me here. It makes the most sense to keep it on Big Baldy Bob. Apollo's had his go on the belt fairly recently, and the Hurt Business are really over at the minute. It just makes sense to let him continue on that tear.
Next up, we have Bayley defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Nikki Cross. Another match where I think really the challenger hasn't been built up credibly very much, so I'm going to predict the champion to retain. I think Bayley will retain. I know that a lot of people are thinking maybe Sasha will come out and cost Bayley in revenge, but I think Bayley's going to hold that belt until it's Sasha who takes it from her, maybe even at WrestleMania. Now, in the case of Nikki Cross, I think the odds are actually stacked against her more than they even appear to be on the surface, because of course you've got Alexa Bliss, who's acting a bit evil, and I think will ultimately cost Nikki Cross this match.
It feels bad to say that a lot of the matches at Clash of Champions are kind of just a holding pattern, it feels like. So I don't see a title change for the SmackDown Women's belt. I feel like that needs to come from Sasha Banks taking it from Bayley and saying, look, I love Nikki Cross as much as the next person from these aisles, but she's not winning at Clash of Champions. Bayley's retaining. Bayley is retaining her title.
Bayley should win this and hold the belt for a little while longer before Sasha comes back properly. It just gives her a little extra something to brag about until she does. Nothing against Nikki, but if she were to win the title and then inevitably feud with Alexa for it, even with the added Fiend stuff, it might come across as just a poor man's version of Sasha and Bayley, which wouldn't be a great look for Nikki as champ for the first time. Bayley.
I'm going to go for Bayley here. I feel like we could have Sasha come out and get a modicum of revenge and, cost Bayley the title and everything, but I just don't know if the timing's quite right for that yet. She suffered 2 pretty extensive beatdowns. She had her neck Pillmanized. I think it makes the most sense for Sasha to kayfabe, take some time off to recuperate from her injuries, and then down the road after Bayley becomes unbearable, just got to let that build and build and build. Down the road when she becomes unbearable, that's when Sasha re-debuts at a pay-per-view and absolutely wipes her out.
Next up, we have Randall Keith Orton taking on the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre in an ambulance match. I don't know who's going to win this one. We've seen Drew beat Orton enough times, which makes me think that Drew's going to lose the belt at this point. I don't think he'll be without the belt for long, but I'm going to predict Randy Orton to win. I think he'll win because I think that the fact that it's an ambulance stipulation means that Drew can lose the title without looking too weak. He won't have been pinned, he won't have been submitted, he won't have given up or anything. He'll just have been incapacitated and thrown in an ambulance. It's also a ripe sort of stipulation for a surprise run-in from somebody. Maybe we'll see a big return or something like that. But yeah, I think Randy Orton is going to come out of this one as WWE Champion.
What they've done is, I think they've set up Drew to a point whereby if he loses, it doesn't make him look weak because his jaw is broken. So I think Randy Orton's probably going to win the title here. I think Drew will get it back, but I think the night belongs to Randy Orton at Clash of Champions. I think if any one significant thing's going to come from that night, it's going to be Orton winning. Shouldn't have done that, it's not even funny.
So this is the match where I think Retribution might rear their silly little heads. And I'm desperately hoping that they don't. Because if they were to come in, cause havoc, and be responsible for Drew dropping the title, just no thanks. I'm taking Randall Keith here, though. They've done this match plenty of times now, and the fact that they keep going back to the well, to me, hints that they want the strap on Randy, and now is realistically the time that they're going to do it. I guess the good thing is that Drew doesn't need to be pinned to lose the belt. Like, Randy could just do something ultra evil to him and get him in the back of the ambulance. Maybe following a Retribution beatdown. Regardless, I'm taking Randall Keith here. Nah. Randall Keith. Sorry, Drew.
As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to go with Randy Orton in this one. They just seem to really want it, don't they? They seem to really want it, and there is no way that Drew can look weak here unless he gets absolutely steamrolled. There's also the question of Retribution here. Maybe they'll pop up and get some revenge for what transpired at the end of Raw. But either way, I've gone for Orton here, and I've turned my back on the big bad British champ, Drew McIntyre.
And finally, we have the Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns, the large canine, the tribal chief, taking on Jey Uso. And I'm going to have to predict... No, I'm not. I'm predicting Roman Reigns. Although, I am really looking forward to this match more than most on the card. It might be my most anticipated match, actually. That's how good the build-up has been. I feel bad for Jey. Roman's going to do something horrible to him. I'm quite scared. And ultimately, of course, Roman Reigns is certainly going to retain. You have to predict that. Otherwise, I don't know what you're doing. You're a maverick. If anyone in this video predicts Jey Uso, then I don't know what to think. But it's going to be Roman Reigns.
I've really enjoyed what they've done building Jey Uso to this match. And I love the fact that the first match that Roman has, the heel Roman has as champion, is against a member of his family. Which means that when he does something diabolical to Jey Uso at Clash of Champions, it's going to mean even more. Jey's not winning the title here. I love the fact that he's in a title match. He ain't winning the title. This night definitely belongs to Roman Reigns. I'm expecting Roman to do something pretty horrible to his family member in the process.
I mean, it's Roman, isn't it? Obviously. I love everything about this storyline, and Roman's heel turn has been near flawless. Obviously, though, he's not gonna drop the belt to Jey Uso. I think the real question is, how much is Roman going to hurt his cousin in the process?
This has got to be the easiest match to predict on the card because it's a guaranteed Roman Reigns win. There is no way that Roman is not walking out of Clash of Champions with that belt. And it's not going to be your standard Roman Reigns main event either. It's not just going to be spear pin. It's going to be like spear pin and then brutalizing Jay after the bell. He's going to make an example of him. He's going to absolutely just tear him limb from limb. And it's just going to be horrible. This gets Jay over as a massive babyface in the process, and it gives us some more juice for SmackDown, because SmackDown really needs just that little bit of flavour every now and then to spice up the storylines.
So that is it for our predictions for this weekend's Clash of Champions 2020. Thank you very much for watching. Why don't you just leave your little predictions in the comment section down below, you little scamps, and we'll see what kind of picks you've made as well. Thanks once again. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com, your reigning and defending Cultaholic Heavyweight Champion. Stay safe out there, stay positive, and I'll see you very soon.